Move over, Red October. Move over. It's Kelly Green season, and that's what's back. Eagles, Dolphins, final thoughts, previews, predictions, uh, anything about that game. All of our NFL Week 7 action will break down today. Phillies game 3, not very good in NLCS in Arizona, and some Joel Embiid scuttlebutt. What the hell is a scuttlebutt? Anyway, trending in the AM, right here on Philadelphia Sports Network with your thoughts, opinions, and comments live in 30 seconds.
Fourth and goal.
And a very good morning, everybody, and welcome to Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. We're live, Facebook, YouTube, you know the drill. Like, share, retweet, follow. Hit every button you can. It's free to do it. It doesn't cost you a thing, and it helps this show grow greatly. So I greatly appreciate that. I'm your host, Phil Stiefel, and we got a jam-packed football Friday here on Trending in the AM. Make sure you follow me all social media platforms, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, wherever, at Bearded Knowledge. You can find me on all social media platforms for all different things I post. So make sure you do me that favor there. Good morning, Adam. Hope you're doing well this morning. Mad chatter in the house. Phil, can I ask you a serious question? I cannot guarantee a serious answer. Good morning, Will. What's up? How about them Phils? That was not a good one. Do I respect Howard Stern? I don't know. Sure, I guess. I mean, I give him credit for, making money off of doing what he did. Sure. I've never been asked that, so I never really thought about it. Peanuts in the house. This where everybody's in the house. I don't know. Look, I don't know about Howard Stern. I mean, he monetized, Shock Jock he was the first person to really make big money on Shock Jock. Good for him. I never disrespect anybody that makes money. Finds a way to do it. Phillies could not get it last night. Phillies could not hit a beach ball last night. Michael's in the house. Good morning. Go Birds. Look, we got a lot on the agenda today. In through all the welcome questions of the day. Look, today's agenda today. Phillies lose last night, NLCS Game 3. Bats were dead. Some questionable pitching decisions by Rob Thomson. Joel Embiid scuttlebutt. What is a scuttlebutt anyway? I don't even know. And, of course, the main topic of the day, Eagles versus the Dolphins, and why the Eagles will beat the Miami Dolphins on Sunday. There's one real big reason, and I'm going to get into that. We're going to talk all things Eagles, Dolphins. Tua versus Jalen. Who would you rather as your quarterback right now going forward for the rest of this year, but also going forward as a franchise? Is it the same? Is it different? I'm curious to see. So we got lots to dive into, lots to get into with all these topics. Who is this pitcher? Craig Kimbrell. I mean, he's a Hall of Fame pitcher. At the end of his career, Rob Thomson has burned him out nonstop this year. And it's been for at least a month and a half, man, chatter that Craig Kimbrell has been basically toast, but they have no other better option in the ninth inning. But you just knew as soon as the ninth inning started and Craig Kimbrell came out there, you knew there was a really strong chance that was not going to end well for the Philadelphia Phillies last night. And it's Kelly Green week. Kelly Green is back. Hence the change from Red October to what I think is the closest thing on StreamYard to Kelly Green, changing the color scheme at the bottom to hype it up. And honestly, there is only one reason needed. And I could just end the show technically right here if I wanted to. There's one reason why the Philadelphia Eagles will win on Sunday night. Sunday Night Football, NBC, prime time. There's one reason why the Eagles will win without a shadow of a doubt. Don't need to have any conversation about injuries, players, matchups, anything. The one reason why the Eagles will win on Sunday night is right here. Kelly Green. You tell me you think the Eagles are going to lose in the re-debut for the first time in 3,000 years? Kelly Green back at the link. Well, first time probably at the link. Let me tell you something. The Eagles are not losing on Sunday solely because the Kelly Green is back. Supposedly the Kelly Green is so great, it's gonna like seep into their blood and make them better football players, and everything is going to be wonderful. The amount of money, if you didn't buy your Kelly Green and you go into the game, you're gonna be buying more Kelly Green. The amount of vendors outside in the parking lot selling Kelly Green t-shirts, gonna be a lot. Kelly Green is back, and Kelly Green will carry the Philadelphia Eagles to victory on Sunday. Straight up, no doubt. They will win because Adam's there too. Adam, do you got your Kelly Green ready to go? Who's your Kelly Green go-to jersey? What did you get there? The game to end all games. It's over before it started. Unless the Dolphins decide to rock their like Dan Marino like era uniforms to combat the Kelly Green. The Kelly Green is like kryptonite to its opponents. There's no way that any team, you could get the 1994 Dallas Cowboys out here. You could get the Tom Brady-led any team out here. Nobody is losing to Kelly Green Eagles on Sunday. On a Sunday Night Football, coming off a loss. With Jalen Hurts as their quarterback, there is no way the Eagles lose rocking their Kelly Green. Don't kill the messenger. I'm just telling you. Everything I've heard and read, this Kelly Green is something special. And there might be a little sarcasm in my comments there. Just might be. The game that could warp the space-time. Basically, it could. That's how powerful Kelly Green is. We are going to see a pissed-off Eagles team with an aggressive 12th man. Adam going to be slapping people in the parking lot. I need video footage, Peanut. Please drive down there and get me video footage of Adam slapping people in the parking lot. I need that. And yes, we do have a pissed-off Eagles team. And that's, I mean, if you want to, get serious for a second, and stop with the Kelly Green jokes. I mean, yeah, there is a part of the conversation, and I've brought this up plenty of times when discussing this tough Eagles schedule. The Eagles are pissed off. They don't like to lose. The Eagles have leaders on this team like Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni that are not going to let the Eagles lose multiple games in a row very often, especially long losing streaks. Everyone looks at the tough stretch of the schedule. They might go on a 3 or 4. No. They're not going to lose that many games. They might lose on Sunday, honestly. There's a chance. And I've got a mixed bag of ideas here on what the prediction can be. But if they lose on Sunday, they ain't losing again for a little while. Because Joel Embiid, I'm looking at the comments from Marshawn, James Harden, Jalen Hurts is the kind of guy that's not going to let this team ever go on a major losing streak. He's just that powerful of a leader that he's not going to let this team get too far down. I saw a tweet of 200 pizzas in your car. No. Yesterday's tweet was 370 pizzas. So I got done this show, went right to work, and made 370 pizzas for one client, along with all the other orders for the day. So yesterday was fun. I'm exhausted. My body hurts like hell, just so you know. Why the Embiid jersey hanging over the holiday jersey? We need Phillies over Sixers for good juju. Yeah, I mean, I washed it, I hung it up, and I didn't really take time to reorganize them back there. Look, Joel is still the man, okay? Joel is still the man, and there ain't no way he's going to the New York Knicks. I saw some big wig tweet out that he heard that there's scuttlebutt. I think it was Chris Broussard. Scuttlebutt of Joel Embiid going to the Knicks. Stop. Joel Embiid is not getting traded to the Knicks. Not yet. Not now. Not this season. So I don't know what his scuttlebutt is all about, but let me tell you something. That guy is just pulling a random rabbit out of his hat and just saying it for good content on TV. There is no data to back that up, in my opinion. And my sources, i.e., just my basic knowledge of sports and putting one and one together, there ain't no scuttlebutt about it. Okay? Joel Embiid is not rumored to go to the Knicks. It's just straight BS. No way your seat. Well, it wasn't my car. My wife used her car to deliver it. My Jeep wouldn't hold that many pizzas. Where's K1? But you're worried about K1? K1 might have to take a day off. Who knows? And we are playing home, and we're not losing at home this year, Michael. Look, this is a game that we could lose, for sure. We're going to get into the injuries and the injury report in a little bit here. The Dolphins are a damn good offensive team. The question is not whether Kelly Green is really the Dolphins' kryptonite, but the real question is, can like if this game so the line is still 2.5. The line's going up to 2.5. Eagles are favored. The over unders at 51.5. And I know there's going to be a lot of predictions from a lot of people as the show goes on with a combined score of into the 60s, 65 and up. If this game gets to a point where a combined score is 65, 67, the Eagles, I'm not confident that the Eagles can keep pace. If this is one of those I score, you score, I score, you score, straight offensive battles, I don't know if the Eagles can keep up. I mean, they can. They got a powerful passing attack. They got a powerful running attack. I need to see this score barely hit that over. I need to see this score hit the under. I need the Eagles to run the ball. The Dolphins have another week that we have a terrible rush defense that we've got to face. We need to run the ball, control the clock, and keep the Tua offense machine that is the Miami Dolphins off the field as much as possible. We need one of those games where we have, just like last week, where we start the game on an 18-play drive. Wear that defense out. That's what we need. Jags won last night barely. I didn't watch any of the game. I watched the Phillies game, then I was done last night. I barely made it to the end of the Phillies game. My body was so sore after 370 pizzas. Man, you got to put that Phillies over the Sixers jersey before the game starts. It was like that last night. It's been like that for all week, pretty much, Marshawn. I hung that up on Sunday. So you've missed that all week long, hanging like that. Just so you know. Good sports content, Phillies, and then Thursday night football. Yeah, it was a good night if you could stay awake for that much. The Falco jersey's behind the Embiid jersey as well. Maybe the Phillies need a little Falco, a little heart. What does he say when Coach McGinty at halftime of the championship game says, when he's asked by the reporter, what do we need to come out in the second half? And he says, we need heart. And that was the cue for Shane Falco to get in his car across the city, get to the stadium, change, stretch, and warm up, and get out on the field for the second half. Oh, what's halftime? 20 minutes? And he got it all done in 20 minutes and fought the other quarterback in the locker room. So, yeah. What topping were the pizzas? They were all cheese pizzas, 370 cheese pizzas. Made it a little easier. Luckily, my oven was fixed by 11 a.m. yesterday morning, so I was able to get it all done barely. If Joelle is going to the Knicks, Ramona Shelburne would be the one breaking that news. Yes, absolutely. She has definitely the real sources inside the Sixers organization. Look, I see this Joel Embiid scuttlebutt, and look, will Joel Embiid finish his career here in Philly? Maybe. Will Joel Embiid get frustrated and ask out? Maybe. But he hasn't done it yet. Joel Embiid wants to be in Philly. Joel Embiid wants to be held in the same sentence as Jalen Hurts and Bryce Harper and all those great legends in Philly, because there are great legends in Philly sports right now. Bryce Harper and Jalen Hurts. He wants to be held in the same category as those guys. He's not right now, but he wants to be, and he's close. But at some point, every person's got their breaking point, and at some point he could, but it's not happening yet. So whoever it was, Chris Broussard or whoever it was that reported that Joel Embiid to the Knicks is a thing that's been discussed, it's been discussed amongst him and his peers. Not one executive has called the Sixers from the Knicks asking for Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid has not asked a single executive at the Sixers, what about trading me to the Knicks? It's not happening. There ain't no rumors coming out of Joel Embiid's camp. There ain't no rumors coming out of Sixers camp. It is the biggest load of crap I've heard in a while. Is Julio Jones playing? Yes. I guarantee you Julio Jones will be called up from the practice squad. They'll probably use 2 or 3 of his practice squad call-ups to use at first just to save the roster spot. And also that way it kind of gives you a chance to see if he's got anything left in the tank, although he says he does. We'll find out. The practice squad thing there gives you a little bit of leeway there, but he will play. Especially with Quez going on IR. Unfortunately for Deion Kane and Devin Allen and all those guys on the practice squad, wide receiver, Joseph Nagata, now that Julio Jones is here for the next couple of weeks at least, they have no chance to get called up to the main roster. Phil, don't go. Got no Kelly Green. I got a Kelly Greenish color scrolling on the bottom of the screen because Kelly Green is the most powerful thing in the world, without a shadow of a doubt. All cheese pizzas order is a party foul. It wasn't a party. It was an Amazon warehouse that feeds their employees, and it's just easier to have one flavor. Every employee gets their own pizza. So it is what it is. But I'll take it. I don't care. Chris Broussard broke the news, and he has no connections to the Knicks or Sixers. He also works for FS1. They clickbait for days. Yeah, they went to the school of um, Skip Bayless, learning how to do things. Dion Kane. I don't know who's back and who's not. But with Julio Jones here, none of the other wide receivers matter at this point. But that was just answering Adam's question on whether Julio Jones will play. I don't expect much from Julio Jones on Sunday. I expect him to dress. I'm not even sure how many plays he'll be on the field for. Quez Watkins, when healthy, was on the field for 50, 60% of the snaps. Could you really see Julio Jones being on the field that much his first week? He just got here Wednesday. I don't think that's likely. You might see 15 plays from Julio Jones, and maybe he'll get one or two targets. Someone said it a couple days ago on this show that they want to see, after the Julio Jones sign, they want to see the first play go deep to Devontae Smith, get him off the snide. And I would be okay with that. But there is a side of me that says maybe that first play of the game they go to Julio Jones just for just for whatever reason it is. Um, just to get him involved right away. But I don't see him being a major factor at all, and definitely not in the red zone like people are saying, because that's just not who he is anymore. But he will play, and he will have he'll eventually, if he's got anything left in the tank, he will find a way to make an impact in some games coming up here soon. I expect Julio to have at least one third down conversion on Sunday. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna look into it. I'm gonna look at the odds this weekend. I would love to play some form of a Julio bet of some kind. Um, just don't know how much of an impact he'll have right away week one. Washington next week, then we get into the Buffalo San Francisco 49ers stretch. Then thank you very much, man. Chatter. Greatly appreciate the donation, my man. Um, Greatly appreciate it, but you can't change the topic. We are talking Eagles and go Phillies. We are. So you're not changing the topic for, from something to the Eagles. We are talking Eagles. Yes, the Sixers thing is kind of a distant rumor that I have to crush the media man. Chris Broussard ain't no Howard Stern. Chris Broussard's just throwing random shit and hoping somebody picks it up. And we all did. How fired up would the link be when Julio Jones catches a contested catch for a first down? Oh, they're gonna shower him with love. I get it, but the question is, will he play, and how much will he play? I don't expect a lot out of him week one. Like I said, he got here. He signed Tuesday, got here Wednesday, practiced yesterday. That's about it. He'll have a walkthrough today with the team. We'll see, but they do like to use that, and a lot of how much Julio Jones plays. Julio will get a touchdown. Adam, if you've got your DraftKings or your app, I would love to know what at any time a Julio Jones touchdown would cost. What are the odds on him scoring a touchdown? I would love to know, because I would, if it was 500 or better, I would consider laying a few bucks on it just for why not. But how much Julio plays also goes into whether Lane Johnson plays. What's the offensive line blocking scheme going to be like? And the injury report from practice yesterday, Lane Johnson actually practiced in a limited fashion. There were only two Eagles that did not participate in practice yet this week: Reed Blankenship and Bradley Robbie. Now, the Reed Blankenship are ribs. They could be protecting him, or he might miss it. Bradley Robbie's shoulder, I expect Bradley Robbie to miss Sunday's game, which is a problem because he was brought in to play the slot. Looks like we're going to have Josh Joby back out there again. But injured Eagles, Carter, Goddard, Johnson, and Smith, all practiced in limited fashion. So that is a positive, massive sign that all four of those guys will play. And even better, especially for our secondary, Sidney Brown, Eli Ricks, Darius Slay, Marlon Tupelodu, and Milton Williams all practice fully. So Darius Slay and Sidney Brown will be out there starting on Sunday. and that's massive. But the thing is, if Lane Johnson doesn't go, you're going to have to start running some more two tight end sets, two running back sets. You're going to have to give Jack Driscoll help. You cannot go into a game again with Jack Driscoll out on an island protecting the right side like you did last week when Lane Johnson went down. You got to find a way if Lane Johnson doesn't play. But all intents and purposes, I feel like Lane Johnson will play on Sunday. I highly doubt Lane Johnson would practice even in a limited fashion this week and not give it a go. That's just my opinion. That's my thought. I just don't see a way that he doesn't try to give it a go. Now they better have a better plan in place if he gives it a go and he can't finish the game. If you've got to put Jack Driscoll out there again in any form, you better have a better adjustment scheme planned out to protect Jalen Hurts. Because it'd be very hard for me to handle that situation. Look, the Dolphins, let me pull up the Dolphins a little bit here. Let me pull up their depth chart and their stats here on defense. I want to see a little bit more on this Dolphins defense. I'm trying to see if how well they get after the quarterback. They've got two guys, Zach Seller and Andrew Van Ginkel, each with 4 sacks. Christian Wilkins with 3.5. They got some guys like a Bradley Chubb at linebacker, Jerome Baker. They don't have much. I got Eli Apple out there. Man, we got to make sure we target Eli Apple in that passing game. You got to protect them. And this is a defense that you should be able to stop getting pressure. They're a terrible run defense. Their defense in general. What I had it up yesterday. They are the 20th overall ranked defense. They've given up. They're 26th in scoring, 19th in passing, 20th in rush defense. They're not a good defense. So you should have the ability to protect, but you still got to protect them. If you put Jack Driscoll out there, any average defensive lineman is going to get pressure on Jalen Hurts against Jack Driscoll. So if Lane goes, great. If Lane doesn't go, have a plan. If Lane does go, still have a plan in case he can't go the entire game. There's so much that goes into it. DraftKings does not have a Julio Jones touchdown line yet. Well, DraftKings, if you're listening, I'm sure every person that works at DraftKings is watching right now. Get that line up. Eagles fans want to bet it. You could be pulling. You're going to get so many Eagles fans dumping money on that. Unless the line's great, I wouldn't even consider it. But Adam's saying on all the sites. Adam just went and checked. Adam's a gambling degenerate. So, with that being said, you can't bet it yet. Are we really the second-ranked defense? We are not the second-ranked defense. Marshawn, let me pull my notes up from yesterday. We are the second-ranked run defense in the NFL. 9th overall defense. We are. And this is what part of the story was yesterday on this show. It sounds like when you listen to Eagles fans that this defense is all doom and gloom. Yes, I know we've got injuries left and right. Some of them coming back. Darius Slay will be back. Sidney Brown will be back. Jalen Carter will be back. Look, we're still undefeated we are 0-1 when Jalen Carter misses a game now. Start tracking that throughout his career. How many times we win and lose when he's not playing. But it's all doom and gloom with this defense. But realistically speaking, this defense has actually survived pretty damn well considering all the injuries they've faced so far this year. And where's Peanut? He's here. He's been commenting. He's around. He listens while he's driving to work and doing things. Not everybody can comment the entire show. The comments are actually really slow today. I ain't going to lie. A little disappointed in the core 12. There are very few people commenting on YouTube. You got 14 likes on YouTube, 5 on Facebook. Great. Got to get the comments going, too. And that's not an invitation to spam it with stupid stuff. I'm just saying. Where is exactly. I told him, you're here. You're just hanging in the background, waiting for me to say something stupid so you can call me out on it. That's what you're waiting for. But look, realistically, we talked about it, Marshawn, yesterday. We talked about it all week. This defense, this doom and gloom. It's not. It's not as bad as people realize. And honestly, it's a tip of the cap to Sean Desai to be able to manage and hold this defense together with duct tape and super glue with all the injuries they've had. So I think that's a positive as well. Phil, what approach do you want Eagles offense to take when it comes to time of possession? I want them to run the ball. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. They're one of the worst run defenses, the Dolphins, in the league. And it seems like we face a lot of these bad run defenses and we don't run the ball. You win this game. You don't want the Dolphins scoring over 30 points. They probably will. They can. You don't want them to have the opportunity to do that. You win this game by keeping their offense off the field. Now they still have the big quick score capability with Tyreek Hill, the Cheetah, Jalen Waddle, Tua. They can score quickly. But you want to control the clock. We've had a few games this year. We've had 20-plus snap differential against our opponents, and that's what we want. We want to run the ball. We want to have 80 plays of offense to their 55, 60 plays of offense. That's how we win the game. Obviously, limiting the turnovers, cleaning all that up helps as well. I have no idea how Jalen and the offense are going to look on Sunday. I have a feeling that they're going to come out with a chip on their shoulder. This is a defense that gives up points in the Miami Dolphins. You can score on the Miami Dolphins. They are the 26th ranked scoring defense in the NFL. They give up over 26 points a game on average. The Eagles, on the other hand, only give up 20 points a game. So defensively speaking, we've got a massive advantage, especially if everybody comes back. Good morning, Chris. Chuck, how you doing? Both Eagles and Phillies need to get bad games behind them. Comeback imminent for both, more confident in the Phils. Chuck, first and foremost, thank you for your comment. Thank you for tuning in this morning. Phillies, they had a letdown yesterday. It is what it is. I've got confidence they'll come back. I'm a little concerned with Christopher Sanchez as starting pitcher tonight. The Philadelphia Eagles will win on Sunday, and they will get off the snide. And there's really one reason, Chuck, if you tuned in late, I said it at the beginning of the show. There's one reason why the Eagles will win. That trumps all the other reasons. Kelly Green is back. The Eagles will not lose on Sunday Night Football in front of a national TV audience with the re-debut of Kelly Green. I mean, time of possession, limiting turnovers, injuries, who's playing, who's not, all plays a factor, but it really means nothing. You can run a JV team out there. As long as they're wearing the Kelly Green, they win on Sunday. Quick or take long drives. We want the Eagles to take long drives and the Dolphins to not have the ball. That's what we want. Will Smith in the house. The Eagles have to run the football. If they get away from the run game like they did last week, they will take another loss. They've gotten away from the run game before and won games. They're playing lesser opponents. This is the Dolphins. This is a hot shot offense. You can score on this defense of the Dolphins, but their offense can score like that. Darius Slay being back will help. Sidney Brown being back will help. Jalen Carter getting pressure on Tua will help. I do want to ask you guys. I brought it up at the beginning of the show. Let me power through these last few comments, and I want to bring up the question: Tua versus Jalen. My entertainment is on the line. Could Julio be active? Julio will be active. I think there's zero doubt that Julio will be active. Who gets a bulk of the carry Sunday? G or Swift? Look, if Lane Johnson plays, DeAndre Swift will be out there more. If Jack Driscoll has to start at right tackle, you're going to see a lot more Kenneth Gainwell. Why? Because Kenneth Gainwell is a much, much better blocking running back than DeAndre Swift. Time of possession, time of possession, time of possession. I mean, seriously speaking, taking the Kelly Green out of the equation, that is the most important thing in this game. If we win time of possession, and we can't just win it by a minute or two, Will, we've got to win time of possession by 7, 10, 12 minutes. If we do that, we win the game. If we do not, if time of possession is even remotely close, we're done. We got no chance. And I normally write down 4 score predictions before the show for today. I've got 5 predictions down, and 2 of them don't have the Eagles winning this game. Because it's going to be tough. Let's not kid ourselves that this is just some cakewalk and we're just going to win. This is going to be the toughest game we've faced all year. Now, we've got a lot of things in our favor, but we still got to put all the pieces together. Yeah, the script, the NFL script was the Eagles winning for Kelly Green. And everybody makes money with this Kelly Green. And defense needs to get turnovers this game. You do. I don't think the turnovers are as big as pressure on Tua. Sacks, quarterback hits, flushing them out of the pocket. I think pressure on Tua is way more important than even the turnovers. Turnovers are always key. Win the turnover battle, you win a football game. But I think the pressure of rattling Tua, maybe putting a couple harder hits, not injure him hits. I'm not asking for you to put 11 kisses on him, but I think that is way more important than the turnovers this week. Anyone have strategies to contain Hill and Waddle? You can't contain them. Well, you control. You just got to limit them. You got to hope. You just got to hope you can somewhat survive. It's like stopping Justin Jefferson, DK Metcalf, Devontae Adams. These guys are elite wide receivers. There are some elite. There's a lot. I don't know if I ever remember a time in football where this many elite wide receivers all played at the same time. There's so many. AJ Brown, obviously, I didn't even say his name. There's so many elite wide receivers. Yeah, we don't always just fight in the comments. Sometimes we get along in the comments, right? Yesterday there was some fighting, but not today. Um, uh, Run the ball, use defensive schemes of Buffalo. Yeah, I'm sure the Eagles did watch some of that Buffalo game. How to stop. What did they beat? What was the Buffalo score, like 48-20 or something like that? You know, what worked for Buffalo? I'm sure they were trying to dive into that a little bit. D-line depth got to step up. I say time of possession by 8 to 10 minutes will be key. And I agree. I like that. 8 to 10 minutes. If it's a 3-minute differential, that's not really that much. You really got to dominate. And look, Jalen Carter will be back. It seems like he's trending to play, and that's a big deal. You got your front line back to full strength. Everybody there. And Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis and the crew, Hassan Reddick, 5.5, 6 sacks in the last 3 games. They're all getting after the quarterback. We just got to wrap up, too. You can't let him duck under your arms when you try to. You got to wrap up and get him. You know, you can't let him duck, step forward in the pocket, find Hill downfield. Because that's the thing. When you get pressure on a quarterback, that gives those receivers time to get downfield. And if you don't wrap up and he has ability to step up in the pocket, then he's going to have wide open receivers down the field and Tyreek Hill that he's going to throw bombs to. And this one, I'm going to skip a few comments. I'll come back to them. Yak yards. Must tackle. Tyreek Hill is prone to catch the ball on like a 10-yard slant or 10-yard crosser and then go for 30 more. This is a clutch comment from Chuck here, right here in the comments. It's so big. You can't let them run after the ball. You can't. After they catch the ball, you just can't. Can't. Let's catch up here. Kyle's saying 38-35. That's a high-scoring game, man. I think if it's going to be that many points, 73 points, I would say the Eagles lose 38-35. I don't want it to be that high scoring of a game. With the Eagles playing off the receivers, they shouldn't get beat on the long ball, except for when they don't wrap up on the sack, and then the routes get diverged to their second or third route, and then they take it over the top. That's the problem. All right, Drew is in the conversation in the house. What's up? 2 is all about the quick game. 1, 2, 3, pop, and let your receivers do the yak. Absolutely. So I want to pose this question to you guys. Tua and Jalen, both been in the league since 2020. Tua's got the flashy name and the flashy plays and stuff like that. He's got the injury history. But he's having an MVP caliber season. Jalen Hurts took his team in its second year to the Super Bowl. MVP candidate now. Locked into a big contract. Who's the better quarterback and why? And who would you take this year? And who would you take going forward for the next 5 to 10 years? You would have to definitely say Jalen Hurts for the next 5 to 10 years because the Tua injury history with the concussions is always going to be a looming thing. But, man, they're 2 superstar quarterbacks that came out of Alabama. Obviously, Jalen transferred to Oklahoma. 2 superstar guys that lead their team because Tua is actually a really good leader on the Dolphins as well. Does things the right way, not seeing him get in trouble or anything. He might not have the same work ethic as Jalen Hurts, but I don't think many people in the NFL do. Who would you take? Tua technically on paper is the better quarterback. But is he the leader that Jalen Hurts is? And I don't want you to answer this question with your Eagles Kelly Green blinders on. Try to be open minded. I think it's a closer conversation than people realize. I mean, I would take Jalen because I will always take the intangibles over the physical skills. But it's an interesting question. I don't think Miami's offensive line is ready for Baby Rhino. Baby Rhino. I love that name. I love it. I hope not. I hope it's not ready. You can't play off Tyreek. He closes too fast. You have to get someone over the top. I really hope Reed Blankenship Drew plays on Sunday. He didn't practice at all yet this week. We should know today if he's going to play or not. I really hope Reed Blankenship plays. It would make such a difference in that over the top help with him. Otherwise, you're going to have Terrell Edmonds and Sidney Brown. And while I'm hyped for a Sidney Brown breakout game, I just don't know if I'm ready for that yet. I really need Reed Blankenship out there. I really do. 23% of Josh Adams' yards is yak. To a 76% of his yards are yak. Wonder what Hurts is. I have no idea. Probably not in the 76th percentile. If anything, it's in that 23% percentile. Phil, will I be okay after office coffee? I have no idea. Have 911 on speed dial. I take Jalen over Tua. Tua has to play specific way. Tua is all about timing. I think you can kind of say a similar thing, Drew, about Jalen Hurts. He's got to play a specific way too. I mean, he's got to have a run-first offense to set up that passing attack. His numbers when he throws the ball 40-plus times a game are awful, win-loss-wise. He's got to play – every quarterback's got to play a specific way. And every quarterback is about timing. Very few quarterbacks don't enjoy getting timing down to a science. I would almost say you can make an argument that this year going forward, Tua is the guy. But for the next 5 to 10 years, it's Jalen. I think that's where the conversation is. But I don't want to see what I'm trying to do with this question, Tua versus Jalen, is prepare people for what they're going to see on Sunday night. And that's a high-powered offense led by a really great, high-quality quarterback. And if he stays healthy, Tua is a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. The problem is he's like Joel Embiid with the Sixers. There's always, no matter how long he stays healthy, always going to be that lingering injury question. Before Mike McDaniels got there, people were saying Tua was washed. Maybe. I would take Tua now, but Jalen Hurts in the future because of the leadership and the work ethic. Yeah, I think that's a fair way to look at it, Adam. I really do. Yeah, and that's what I'm trying to get at, Will. It's all about timing, and every offense tries to. You know what kind of teams fail? Teams fail when the offensive coordinator or the head coach says, "This is our scheme. I don't care what kind of a player you are. This is what we're running." And we've fallen into this trap in the past with previous coaches as Eagles. This is what I want to do. You're a round peg. This is a square hole. I don't care. You're getting in. Successful teams cater their offense to what their quarterback wants and needs. The offensive catered their offense to Tua. The Eagles should be catering their offense to Jalen. They didn't last week. We'll see if that changes this week or not. Hurts is an all-around better quarterback for the Eagles. Tua wouldn't fit in the Philly mold based on not just talent but other things. See, I don't know enough about Tua Peanut to know whether that's accurate or not. I don't know. I know he's not the leader, Jalen Hurts is. Would he handle – I don't know his personality enough to know whether he'll handle the Philly media or not, or whether he would handle the Philly crowd pressure or not. I don't know. I don't know enough about Tua. But he did play at Alabama. So he's got to have some form of brain power there to handle that. And personality. Nick Saban doesn't just bring in anybody to play at Alabama. You will see if you can throw off to a timing, Hurts can improve. It's where getting the pressure is so important this week. Don't wish it on him, but to a one bad hit from Vega-Matic, Jalen all day, every day. Look, one bad hit from anybody, any week. And that's going to be the problem, Chuck, with Tua. Like, it's almost – did he sign a big contract this offseason? I don't even remember. I know he was up for the big contract. Did he get his contract yet? I think they were waiting to see how he played this year and whether he stayed healthy, whether to give him or how much to give him. The problem is, it's just like Joel Embiid. You could stay healthy. Tua could stay healthy for the next 3 years, not miss a game for the next 3 years. Play 17 games, 3 years in a row, and 4 years from now, we'll still be saying, "But one more hit, and Tua could be done." That's the thing. Once you get that injury label, it's hard to shake it. And the Tua injury label, I mean, we're talking life-threatening injury label for him. You know what I mean? Like, I'm scared when I see him getting pressured because I don't want to see somebody get hurt like that. I don't. I don't care if it's my opponent or not. I'm a human. I got feelings too. Hurts plays a lot of off-schedule plays. Tua hasn't proved to be able to do it constantly. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I've only seen a little bit of Tua, and then the highlights. Obviously, Sunday night will be the first time I really pay super deep dive close attention to him. But he's mobile. Tua has the ability to scramble and get out of the pressure. So we'll see how it plays out. And if you think Hurts don't have a chip on his shoulder against Tua, oh, absolutely. Um, Jalen Hurts and Tua might play nice, before and after the game, but Jalen knows he lost his job at Alabama to Tua, and that will stay a chip on his shoulder forever. I wanted Oklahoma versus Alabama in the championship game that year in 2019. I think it was so bad because I wanted Tua versus Jalen. I hate when a player loses their job because of an injury like that, especially in college. And oh, dude, I wanted it so bad. So Jalen's got that chip. Jalen doesn't need motivation, but Jalen dives into every little thing to motivate himself to be a better person. Does Tua have that chip on his shoulder when he loses? I don't know. Does Tua have a chip on his shoulder when he doesn't do things don't go exactly how he wants? I don't know. That's why McDaniels is a terrible head coach. Josh McDaniels is a terrible head coach. Um, but Mike McDaniels is the Dolphins coach. I'm trying. I'm sorry. It meant to say Jalen Hurts can improvise better. I got what was being said there. I understood that. How do you think Jalen would do on the Dolphins with the weapons they got there and their system there? I mean, think about it. I don't think you would see too much different. I mean, the offenses of the Dolphins and the Eagles are very similar. There's one big difference between the two offenses. The offensive line of the Eagles is head and shoulders better than the Dolphins' offensive line. But we've got Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. They got Jalen Waddle and Tyreek Hill. There's an argument to be made. One or the other is the best wide receiver duo in football, and the other one's the second best duo in football. I don't think they have a tight end like Dallas Goedert. Not that Dallas Goedert's involved. They run the ball really well, just like us. They've got Mozart, and they had the other guy who's now on IR. I think there's a lot of similarities. So Jalen would have just as much success, and I think Tua would have success on our offense as well. I think any quarterback that's got elite wide receivers and multiple of them at that are going to find success if they're good quarterbacks. So I think Jalen would succeed there. I think Tua would succeed here. They're both really good quarterbacks. There's one key difference between the two, and that's the injury history. And I know Jalen gets hurt, but his injuries are different. It's not like head injuries are just totally different ball game. And once you get a couple of them, man, it's scary. Saban doesn't have a long history of good to great quarterbacks. Not sure if that is no, it's an accurate statement. So the thing is, like, he wins despite the quarterback. So he brings in smart guys that buy into his culture, guys that are going to be leaders. He brings in guys that want to win over success of their career. He doesn't bring in a guy like Caleb Williams, who's out there saying, he wants ownership of part ownership of whatever team drafts him. He's not out there saying everybody wants to be in these size 12 and a half shoes. Nick Saban doesn't bring those kind of guys in. He brings in guys like Tua and Jalen Hurts, the guys that are leaders, guys that can do it all. Put team first over individual success. Now, Jalen Hurts and Tua might be the two best quarterbacks he's ever had in Alabama, and that's it. I mean, he won a title with McCarron as what was his name? Was in Cincinnati for a little bit. AJ McCarron. He won a title with him, I think. I mean, that's the kind of smart guys that get good grades that put team above all else. Praise be to the Lord and Savior Nick Saban. That's what he brings in. So I think that says something about Jalen Hurts and Tua. I'm just going to say Tua because I can't say his last name. I can't pronounce it. And I don't want to say Aqua Bowman by mistake and have you guys crush me for that for the next month. Will Aqua Bowman play this week? Doubtful. Why is he even on this team? I have no idea. The offensive line of the Dolphins got a lot on their hands. They do. And that's going to be key. Like I said, we always say time of possession and turnovers win you a ball game. Well, this week it's time of possession and getting pressure on Tua. That's what wins you the ball game. Jalen keeps receipts more than any athlete, Peanut, that I'm almost 43. I don't remember an athlete in Philly with as many receipts kept as Jalen Hurts. And I love it to an extent. To an extent, I mean, it could backfire. I mean, maybe that's part of his Superman complex when he's on the field, where he's trying to constantly prove himself when in reality he's already proven himself and he doesn't have to do it anymore. So maybe there's a scenario where the receipts, I'm writing this down because I like this theory and something I want to continue diving into. I like it. Could it backfire? Big picture. Could it be part of the problem? That's my only issue with that. That's it. I don't think the schemes are the same. The schemes aren't the same in Miami and Philly. But the core part of it, of having a quarterback with an elite wide receiver duo, is. And Jalen Hurts could go and figure out that scheme as long as he's got two elite wide receivers to throw to. Tua could come here. He's got two elite guys that get separation here too. So that's what I'm getting at with that being similar. You want your quarterback to be cocky. You do. You want look, quarterbacks, you want them to have the ego of all egos. You do. But also, you want somebody like Jalen Hurts' ego. He's got a huge ego, Jalen Hurts. There's no doubt about it. But he puts team first. He puts work first. He lives and breathes football 24/7. He's not out there partying. He's not going to strip clubs. He's not on Instagram posting hype videos like Ben Simmons has his team always do. He's a leader. He's cocky. He's got an attitude. He's got an ego. But would you want a quarterback that doesn't? Do you want a passive aggressive quarterback leading your franchise? I don't think so. I heard a few excellent breakdowns are offensive struggles. Somebody got to get Brian Johnson to start watching some of these Eagles content creators. I love it. Yeah, they do. Look, I'm hoping. I'm hoping he's learned from some of his mistakes, and this is a week that something changes. I am. But talent does win out sometimes, and the talent on the Eagles offense has 5 of the 6 weeks masked some of his deficiencies. We're going to see this week. And if it comes out and struggles this offense this week and doesn't keep up with the Dolphins, this might be the final week before the play calling duties are taken away from Brian Johnson. This might be his last opportunity. Nick Sirianni hears it. Jalen Hurts hears it. Howie Roseman hears it. Jeffrey Lurie hears it. They might say they don't pay attention to what's being said in the media. They do. They hear it. They know it too. This might be Brian Johnson's last. This is his 7th game, not his 2nd or 3rd game. 7 weeks in, it's time he starts figuring it out and getting on the same page. Caleb actually said he wants part ownership of who drafts him. Yes, he did. And then someone else brought some. I don't even know what. There was another video, and I don't even know what he was responding to, but he was responding to something that was said to him and said everybody wants to be in these size 12 and a half shoes. And he laughed. Like, he is getting such an ego in a bad way. So, yeah, brilliant minds in our fan base. There are a lot. I'm not a brilliant mind, but there are a lot of brilliant minds. There's a reason you don't see me doing film breakdown because that is not my strength. I tried doing it once. It is not my strength at all. I can break it down. I can see it, but just sitting there with it on the screen, nah, I'm just not. It's not my specialty. The way Caleb flapping him gums is starting to sound like insecurity. Maybe it's a little bit of cockiness. It's a little bit of insecurity. It's a little bit of he wants to scare teams away from drafting him. He's one of those guys, and it's a long conversation I don't want to get into today, man, chatter. But the problem with the draft that you're forced to go play somewhere, and you normally go play somewhere that's bad. When you're a top quarterback, you get drafted 1 or 2. Do you really want to go to that Cardinals train wreck? Do you really want to go to the Giants train wreck? You know, look at Zach Wilson. He went to a train wreck situation. Trey Lance got put in a bad situation. Most quarterbacks that get drafted 1 or 2 overall get put in bad situations. Jalen Hurts went to a great situation by not going and put and set up for success by getting drafted in the second round and no pressure. That's the problem. So Caleb, I think some of it could be insecurity. Some of it he's just a cocky SOB. Some of it he might be trying to change or create a narrative that's not there because he doesn't want to go to certain teams. Maybe he wants to fall in the draft. Cost him some money at first, but maybe he wants to fall in the draft to go somewhere in a better situation. I don't know. Maybe. Good morning, Eric. I thought you were already you've already been in the comments. You just didn't say good morning yet. Like I thought I saw your name up there already a little bit. Good morning, Mitchie Poo. How you doing, Mitchie Poo? You know, when I watch Craig Kimbrell pitch the ninth inning of baseball games now, I think of Mitchie Poo, not Mitch Kofsky, Mitch Williams, because that's pretty much what Craig Kimbrell closing games out for the Phillies right now is the wild thing, and it's not pleasant when you see Craig Kimbrell coming out of that bullpen. You know it's not going to be a quick 1, 2, 3 ninth inning. Phillies need to get this series over with and quit playing with their food. Yeah, Mom always said, don't play with your food. It's food for eating. Look, I didn't think the Phillies were going to sweep the Diamondbacks. I said 5, maybe 6 games. The Diamondbacks are a good team, not a great team. Their bats just went quiet. You can only hit so many home runs before the bats goes cold. They went cold last night. I expect them to come back alive tonight. Problem is, it's going to be 2 bullpen games for the Diamondbacks and the Phillies. Chris Sanchez going for the Phillies over Taijuan Walker. Interesting choice. Topper's just got to manage his bullpen better. You know, going with Orion Kirkring in a big spot, not smart. You know, where Dominguez is not lights out anymore. I don't know. You know, Jeff Hoffman, you got quite, it's a dominant bullpen, but it's got to be used correctly. And it wasn't used correctly last night. And maybe you could have left Ranger Suarez out there. Ranger Suarez was dominating the Diamondbacks offense. I know he gave up a hard hit double there right before he was pulled, but man, Philly's got to get their shit together. But Rob Thomson needs to get his head out of his ass. Notre Dame caused Caleb to eat a lot of humble pie. Yeah, I didn't even know until that's where the whole comments started coming from, I think. He was questioned about a lot of stuff that happened with Notre Dame. There was a fan that ran out onto the field and trolled him, and that's where everybody wants to be in these size 12 and a halves came from. So I don't watch college football enough to know. I didn't know Notre Dame beat them, but yeah. Look, I don't know about a college kid with that big of an ego, man. I don't. Needs to let Brian Johnson needs to let Jalen beat Jalen. How do you do that though, Chuck? Like Brian Johnson's calling plays the way he sees fit, and it's just not working. It's not working at all. But he's got to find a way to get on the same page. And I don't know how they can't be on the same page. They've known each other. They should know what works for each other. I don't know. DS made a good hot take too. Said Hurts isn't a one-read quarterback. BJ is a one-player designing coordinator. I don't know who DS is. DS. He's a content creator, obviously. DS. Who is DS? Anyway, this is an interesting comment. Maybe there is something to this. He designs plays that are only one read. I like this, Eric. One read. I'm taking notes on you guys instead of taking and reading my notes off to you guys. I like that. Phil, I bet you could do amazing pizza pie breakdowns. You're the Andy Reid of the pizza game. I could talk pizza all the time, but that's not what we're here for. You're not here to talk about my 370 pizzas yesterday. You're here to talk about the Eagles, the Phillies, the Sixers, whatever. That's what we're here to talk about. I'm glad you finally got you to yeah. We never talked about on this show. We never talked about that at all. That Tupac's killer was finally caught. That is hilariously, oddly random thing that happened like a month ago that did not get as much I thought that was going to be plastered all over the media for weeks on end, and it wasn't. What's your prediction score? You got to get into the 10. I got 5 scores. Got 5 scores written down right here in my notebook. Gotta wait till the end of the show. I haven't picked yet. I've got 2 scores that don't even have the Eagles winning. I do. I won't lie, guys. I got 2 Eagles out of the 5 here, Eagles losses. I don't think they will. Again, Kelly Green will dominate all. But I'm not ready to make that decision. I still haven't. Normally, we got 35 minutes left. I got to go through the entire NFL schedule and stuff like that. Normally, I'm leaning towards 1 or 2 scores. I got 4 of these 5 scores. I'm still pretty possibly sold on here. I ain't gonna lie. NIL ruining college balls. Sanders kid and making bank and doesn't need NFL. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that whole NIL. I get the college kids need to make some money off their likeness, and so many college kids don't have the opportunity to go pro. But on the flip side, yeah, maybe it's getting a little out of control. I don't know. Listening to Phil on a Friday talking Philly sports is flipping amazing. Thank you, Peanut. I greatly appreciate that. Cheers to you, my man. I hope you have a great weekend. And if you guys do, make sure you tune in to Peanut Show. Birds, Beer, and BS on the AT Sports Network. Him and Jeff, you won't laugh harder than when you watch their show because it's just BS and pure crap. But I recommend it at the same time. Peanut understands what I'm saying. It's pure crap, but it's entertaining as hell. And just make fun of Jeff. And do whatever you can in the comment section to egg Jeff on. For sure, TMC is Magneto with the ladies, a true master of chick magnetism. That's a great comment. I don't even know where that came from, but that's a great comment. I know we have to protect our quarterback, but he is a special because of his ability to run. And yeah, and I've always said, Will, that I don't ever want them to take the running aspect away from Jalen Hurts. Yes, do I want them to make him run a little bit less? Sure. Put him at risk a little bit less? Sure. But you can't take away what makes him special. And him running the football makes him special, without a shadow of a doubt. You have to let Jalen do what makes him special. Absolutely. You've got to let him do what he does best. And there's no doubt about that. You're interested in my pizza game. Well, you could just buy my pizza shop, and I can move away. And that would be very, very happy for me. All right, almost 9 a.m. in the morning here on Trending in the AM here on Friday. It's the 20th of October. Wow. October is flying by. We're already in the week 7 of the NFL. You're watching Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Make sure you hit that like button. Only 14 likes on YouTube, 5 on Facebook. Guys, what happened to the algorithm today? What happened today? We've been cruising and crushing it today and this week. Today, we're hitting a standstill as we get set for Eagles Dolphins. I'm Phil Stiefel. Like, share, retweet, subscribe, follow, do it all. I greatly appreciate it. Helps the algorithm. But let's continue on with this show with your thoughts, your opinions, and mine as well. As we continue to roll through here, let me pull up the NFL schedule for this week, and let's go through some of the games. Obviously, what the heck did I just click on? That was not what I was trying to click on my side screen. So obviously the Jaguars surprisingly got the win last night, 31-24 over the Saints. Shocked that they played as well as they did, coming off of traveling 2 weeks to London, then coming back and not coming home, going to New Orleans. Those Jaguars players haven't been home in I don't know how long, but they beat the Saints. I wouldn't have predicted that. That's why I don't make a lot of money. Yeah, Eric, I wish, man. I wish someday. But anyway, let's rattle off some of these games. We'll start the 1:00 slate on Sunday. Raiders at the Bears, 2 terrible teams. The Raiders are 3-3 somehow. I don't know how, but they're a bad team. The Raiders at the Bears, 2.5-point favorites. I've got the Raiders winning. Why? Because the Bears, I have no idea who their quarterback is. They're terrible right now. The Bears are packing it in. They might be fighting for Caleb. They might be trying to get the number 1 pick to get Caleb. So they're probably pretty much in tank mode at this point. Saints suck. I need a new defense. Look, the Saints are probably one of the worst 3 and 4 teams in football. I won't lie to you. I don't know how they've even won 3 games. Browns at the Indianapolis Colts. Browns are 3-point favorites. Coming off their huge win, I'm actually going to go Colts +3. I don't know if the Colts will win or not, but I'm willing to take the points and take the chance there. Browns had a big win. The Browns defense is great. Who's playing quarterback for the Browns? I don't know. I'm going to take the Colts at home plus the points and hope for an upset there because that's what I've got. That's what I think. Oh, what is going on this screen here? Oh, let me reset that screen. All right, next game, Bills at the Patriots. Bills are 8.5 point favorites. New England stinks. How much longer? So I think the New England situation is very interesting. A, how much longer can Bill Belichick keep going with Mac Jones? And B, there are rumors that Robert Kraft is considering moving on from Bill Belichick. It's insane. But I'm going to take the Pats and the plus 8.5. I don't think the Pats win. Division game. Their defense is still pretty solid. They hold the Bills in check. Bills win by a touchdown, but that's it. Those division games, hard to have those big blowouts. I'm going to take the Pats plus 8.5 there. Division rival Commanders at 3-3 against the dreadful 1-5 Giants. Washington is 2-point favorites. I take Washington and the points in that one. The Giants are competing with a lot of teams for Caleb Williams as well. I got Giants upsetting Commanders. Wow, really? Why? I need to know why. That would be great for us in the division. I wouldn't be surprised because I think the Commanders are a terrible team. So I'd be interested to know why you think that way. Then I got Falcons at Bucks. Bucks are 2.5 point favorites. I don't buy the Bucks. I'm taking the Falcons there. I don't plan here. I just kind of look at it for the first time right now. The Falcons are not a great team, but they're not a bad team. They're another team that should be tanking for a quarterback because they got a great running back, they got a great tight end, they got a great young wide receiver. They just don't. I don't buy Ritter as a quarterback. The Bucks, though, I know their defense is really good. I just don't think they're as good as people think. So I got that one there. I got Bucks losing to the Falcons. I'll just take the points, but yeah, I think that Lions at Baltimore. This is a huge game. Baltimore's a 3-point favorite at home. So basically, they're even on a neutral field. Let me tell you something. This is a big testing point for these Detroit Lions. Are they legit or not? It's a big moment for the Ravens, too, because the Ravens have been up and down all year as well. I think the Ravens win. I think they cover the -3, but I think this is a close game back and forth, and I could easily see the Lions winning this game. If I was a betting man, I just wouldn't trust the money on it. Barkley and Jones back. They looked stronger last game. I mean, Daniel Jones is back. That's your reasoning? No offense, Eric. Daniel Jones just ain't it. That's all I'll say about that. That's all about that. Steelers, first 4 o'clock game on the slate. Steelers travel to LA and the Rams. A couple teams with 3 wins. The Rams are 3-point favorites. Another game. I have no idea. I'll take the Rams at home and the points just because it's an East Coast to West Coast travel is tough. But man, that's a tough one to predict because they're both very mediocre teams that don't excite me at all. Rams running attack, Cooper Kupp's getting back into the swing of things. I guess I take the Rams there. Another divisional matchup, Cardinals at Seattle. Seattle's an 8-point favorites. I'm taking the Cards. Just the points. The Cards do not win this game. But division games, 8-point lines, you got to go with the plus money, the plus on that. Cardinals have played good. They haven't won a lot of games, but they've stayed in a lot of games this year. So I'll take the Cardinals plus 8 there. Packers at Broncos. Packers are 1-point favorites. Both teams. There's a lot of really bad games this week. There are a lot of god-awful games on the schedule this week. Man, I don't even know what to say about some of these games. Who's actually going to watch a Green Bay Packers Denver Broncos game? Who? I'll take the Packers and the -1. I mean, it's a 1-point game. That's ridiculous. Ridiculous. Final 4 o'clock time slot. The Chargers high-powered offense against the Kansas City Chiefs. Chiefs are 5.5-point favorites. It's a division game. I'm going to take the Chargers and the points. I think the Chiefs probably win this by 3, but it'll be a close game. Damn, there are a lot of bad football games this weekend. A lot of games matching up with bad opponents. Broncos, Packers, Cardinals, or Steelers, Rams, Falcons, Bucks, Giants, Commanders, Colts, Browns, Raiders, Bears, games that just honestly, terrible, terrible. If Giants win, you got to dye your beard like Scott Steiner. What you want? Like what is it? Like all white or something like that? Big Papa Pump in the house. Holla if you hear me. There, that's my best. I'm a better mathematician than Big Papa Pump too. What did he say? 3 plus 3 is like 9, or I don't even remember how it went. The Big Papa Pump TNA math segment, but he's not a very smart man. Big Papa Pump. They're just not. I don't know. I don't know what to tell you about Big Papa Pump. I don't know about that, but I will. I will. The Giants. I say I'll put somebody in the Steiner recliner if the Giants win. Who? I don't know. And it's popped up on my side screen. Hasn't it? There it is. I just been waiting for this comment to pop up from you, Chuck, on the main screen. Should I put it up here? You haven't watched this show enough, and you haven't followed me on social media, obviously, and Twitter to know my feelings on Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert is the most overrated quarterback in the NFL, without a shadow of a doubt. He is the epitome. He is basically a younger version of Kirk Cousins. He is the epitome of fantasy football stat keeping. The people that think Justin Herbert's good are the people that like to play fantasy football more than the actual watching the football. Because Justin Herbert has literally zero. I would take Jalen Hurts 100 times over Justin Herbert. Without a shadow of a doubt. Why? Because there's no leadership ability in Justin Herbert. There's no clutch gene in Justin Herbert. There's no nothing. I would not trust Justin Herbert ever leading my team to victory in a close game. But he'll put you up 25 fantasy points every week. Sure. And Chargers fans and Herbert fans will blame the coaching, the line, injuries to wide receivers. They'll blame everybody. The Eagles, well, that's the thing. And I saw this on another site or maybe another show. The difference between Philly fans and fans around the world in all other sports. Philly fans don't make excuses. When we lose, we point fingers to Jalen Hurts, Brian Johnson. We point the fingers at the people that do it. Other cities point the fingers everywhere else and deflect the blame. The blame of losing a playoff, when you're up 30 points at halftime of a playoff game and you blow it, but it's not Justin Herbert's fault. No. It's everybody else's fault. Stop. But am I wrong in this comment? It won't even come up on that comment came up on the screen. Why won't this comment? There it goes. I don't know. I think my screen froze up for a second there. The younger version of Cousin. That's cold. It's not. It's not cold. It's real. It's realistic. I mean, Kirk Cousins puts up fantasy stats nonstop. Does he do anything actually good? Does he lead a team to victory ever? Does he ever put a team on his back and carry them? No. People say, well, you could say everybody's injured. Carson Wentz led a practice squad team in 2019 to the playoffs. This is not saying this is not saying Carson Wentz is better than Justin Herbert. But let me tell you something. At least he had some cojones to lead a team. Justin Herbert, nothing. I am so anti-Justin Herbert. I would not want him on my team. You can't get better if you don't actually look at the problems. Points. Exactly. You've got to have accountability. There's no accountability with Justin Herbert. Eagles, we blame we lose a game. It's Jalen Hurts' fault when it's his fault. I'm saying his three interceptions weren't all his fault last week, but most Eagles fans are blaming him. They're not blaming the fact that Dallas Goedert dropped the football into somebody else's hands. Where they're not blaming Devontae Smith for dropping a big first down play that would have not set them up for the turnover he committed a few plays later. He had 3 turnovers. Jalen Hurts had to be better. And even I can admit that. Yeah, the play calling had to be better, but Jalen Hurts had to be better. If that game last week happened in San Diego, Jesus. What is going on this morning? In LA, and it was Justin Herbert-led team, Justin Herbert would have taken 0 flack for that loss last week. If you just flip situations, he would have taken no flack for it. Because he's look, I've said this before, and I'm not trying to make this about race or anything like that. But Jalen Hurts, people just don't. The league doesn't want him to be the face of the world, the NFL. He could be. He should be. They want Justin Herbert. He's pretty. He's got a cute smile. He's got long flowing hair, and he's what they think a prototypical quarterback should be. And he's not in Philadelphia. I think that's a lot of it. They don't want Philadelphia to have the face of the league. We are the city of accountability. We hold everybody. We don't deflect blame. We don't blame the fans of another city buying tickets. Did you guys see the story? There are hundreds of tickets to yesterday's Phillies Arizona Diamondbacks game bought by Philly fans that weren't even going to the game just so the Diamondbacks fans couldn't go. That's hilarious. That's great. We are the city of accountability. We don't blame other fans. We might critique umpires, but we don't blame the umpires. We blame our players and our coaches when things don't go well. We don't deflect blame. I'm new this week. Love your program. I appreciate it, Chuck. I do. Wholeheartedly on Herbert and 98% take on Philly sports scene. Hey, I appreciate that. Look, this is not a new Chuck, just so you know, you're new. So just so you know where my take, this is not a new hot take on Justin Herbert. I've been preaching this for a long time. I was in a big fantasy football league with some big name fantasy football experts last year. Just fun. No money on the line, just bragging rights. But there were some big names in this league. And the host put on Twitter a post last year. What are your thoughts on Justin Herbert? And I said exactly this. Not only did I get blocked by the guy because he didn't like my opinions, and then since he blocked me, I went into the fantasy football group chat, called him out for blocking me because he didn't like my opinion. So he kicked me out of the league. And I was 6-1 in first place in the league, and he kicked me out. He also, in his article, breaking the league down. So the league was created to be a piece for him to write about. So he was writing about the draft and moves made and matchups, and it was a jumping off point for articles for him this league. And I was the lowest named person or the least known person in this league. There were some big name people in it. And he wrote my team was the worst team in the league after the draft, and I was 6-1. And because he didn't like my opinion on Justin Herbert, and I called him out for it, he kicked me out of the football league. I don't even know what happened to the football league. I wonder if he put somebody in that place. Dude, it was hilarious. Really, really hilarious. Carson Wentz should be starting somewhere in the NFL. Is Dak and Carr still have jobs? Well, all right, first off, don't. Dak is still a solid quarterback. Dak is better than 50% of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL. Derek Carr, he's bottom 10, but he's still better than some. I don't know if I would take Carson over Derek Carr. Carson Wentz, if he would have handled a backup role, could be starting somewhere in the NFL right now. Because there have been plenty of quarterbacks that have gone down that he could have been on. I would take him over Desmond Ridder right now. I would take him over Dobbs in Arizona right now, Carson Wentz. Might take him over Gardner Minshew in Indy right now. I'm not sure there's many places I would take Carson over who's starting, though. I would take him over Daniel Jones. We put it on Hurts because of his salary increase. You're expected to play up to your contract. Absolutely. Justin Herbert got a bigger contract than Jalen Hurts. And he's not taking any of the blame in LA for their lack of success. Everybody hates Philly. All sports in Philly. Joel Embiid isn't the face of the NBA, but he's a top-tier player. Bryce Harper should be the face of baseball. He's not because he's in Philly. He was more a face of baseball when he was in Washington than he is now. Jalen Hurts should be the face of the NFL. He's not. He does everything. You want to teach kids how to be leaders, grown men, work hard for your goals, even if they're not sports related? Jalen Hurts could do that. You promote Jalen Hurts, he would inspire a generation. He's not the face of the league because he's from Philly. Well, he's not from Philly. He plays in Philly. There is no reason for Wentz to be blacklisted like he is. He could be a solid starting quarterback. I would say he'd be a really good backup. I don't know about solid starting quarterback. I still think, look, I'm a big Carson guy. I was a big supporter of his before Jalen. But something's not right in his head. He clicked. That last injury really, really ruined him. He actually didn't play bad in Indy when he was there. He came up small in that last game. He didn't play bad in Washington last year. Just didn't get the job done. There's probably 5 or 6 starting teams that would take him or should take him, but not many. But he could definitely be a good, solid backup on a lot of Mac. I would take him on the Patriots over Mac Jones. Now that I'm thinking about it, let me go through this week's games. I would debatable whether he should start over Jimmy Garoppolo, but probably whoever's starting in place of Justin Fields, Carson Wentz should be starting. Gardner Minshew with the Colts, I wouldn't take him over Deshaun Watson at this point, but I would take him over Deshaun Watson's backup. Josh Allen, no. Mac Jones, yes. Sam Howell, yes. I would take him over. Daniel Jones, yes, I would take him over. Ritter, yes. Baker Mayfield, it's questionable, but probably not. Jared Goff at this point, not Lamar Jackson. Probably not Kenny Pickett, honestly. I think Kenny Pickett's, I don't know if he's good, but I think the Steelers need to give him the shot. Not over Matthew Stafford. Dobbs, yes. Man, Seattle with Geno Smith, no. But 2 years ago, I would have said yes. Jordan Love, he's probably better than Jordan Love at this point, but you got to give Jordan Love the time. Russell Wilson, no. Herbert, no. Mahomes, no. Yeah. So there's a few teams that I would take Carson Wentz as their starting quarterback over. Jets could use him instead of looking. Are the Jets looking to cut? I really think Kirk Cousins could get traded. We're now down to 10 days till the deadline. There's 2 more weeks of football before the deadline. But man, what they're doing, the Jets. I think the Jets, bought a lot of time for Zach Wilson with the way he played last week against the Eagles. Unfortunately, well, fortunately for them, whatever. Commissioners all get power egos. I had one lock me out of comments because he canceled a trade. I had to force the trade with him. Power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts. Absolutely. It was so funny, man. The situation and how it unfolded last year in that fantasy football league on how I feel. And it wasn't like, look, when I went into the DMs or the private chat of the league, maybe I took it too far. But the Twitter back and forth on Justin Herbert was completely professional. I said he's just my exact words were he's just a younger Philip Rivers, a guy that puts up a lot of stats and wins a lot of regular season games, but will never win a Super Bowl. That's all I said. And he said, "So what do you think about him?" I'm like, "That's what I think about him. I just said it." He's like, "No, I don't understand." And he went back and forth with me, trying to egg me on to say something mean, and I just wouldn't do it. I said, "I think I've spelled my point out." So he blocked me. So I went on my burner account and messaged him and said, "Yo, you blocked me for this." He said, "Yeah," and he blocked my burner account. So then I went to the fantasy football group chat and called him out. Maybe I took it too far, but man, his power trip, man, it was crazy. But he's big and famous, and I'm not. He should be starting for the Pats, Chicago, and the Jets. He could be starting for all those teams. Hurts is a great leader. He's a class act, and he exudes confidence. He is everything you want in the face of a league. He's everything you want to represent a league for the youth of today. And that's what you want. You want people, when kids watch, kids go out and they don't have a favorite team. Kids nowadays aren't like kids like when I was growing up. You only cheer on your home team. Nowadays, kids, with the way social media and YouTube videos are, they got favorite players all around the league. You want kids all over the league buying Jalen Hurts jerseys, practicing like Jalen Hurts, working out like Jalen Hurts, putting the effort in every little thing they do in their life, just like the Jalen Hurts. That's what you want. But that's not the way it is. A Cousins trade is an earthquake trade of the season. Look, Kirk Cousins could get traded. He could not. I don't know. But any team that trades for Kirk Cousins, it ain't going to change the fact Kirk Cousins is a flashy stat padding quarterback. I don't care what team he goes to. He's not going to magically turn them into contenders. And if he does get to the playoffs on a team, he'll come up small in the playoffs. We know Kirk Cousins has not been in the league for 2 years. We know who Kirk Cousins is. He's good. He's a fantasy football quarterback. It was widely admitted that you could buy a round trip ticket to Arizona, buy a ticket for less than Citizens Bank Park ticket. Absolutely. And like I said, there are people buying. I saw one post, a guy bought 20 tickets. He's like, "I'm not going. I'm still in Philly." But I want 20 Diamondback fans not to be able to go and use those seats. I love it. It's hilarious, man. I mean, it's a waste of money. And I would never waste my money like that. But shit, if you got that kind of extra money laying around, sure, why not? Stay away from fantasy leagues run by Herbert's dad. Yeah, maybe this big name is secretly Herbert's dad. I don't know. Phil went to the school of Colangelo. I don't have a burner account, so to say. I've got backup accounts. You never know. I did get, blocked on Twitter for a week because I made a joke to somebody that I'm very friendly with. that their algorithm mistook and thought I was recommending suicide to that person. I wasn't. I would never do that. I think suicide is not something to be taken. So I have backup accounts because you never know when Twitter's algorithm is going to misconstrue something you say and put you in timeout or put you in Twitter jail, whatever you want to call it. I was in Twitter jail for a week. It was actually a great week. I stayed off my phone for a week. It was so nice. I'm on Twitter way too much, but you never know. So you got to have backup accounts for that reason. When you do this kind of stuff, you've got to be active on there. You want kids to go to school like Hurts does. Yeah, you want kids to have respect. You want kids to, you know, find a passion and put in all their effort to get better at it. That's what you want. But yeah, nobody seems to care. They want. Do you want your kid to grow up to be like Jalen Hurts, or do you want your kid to be like Justin Herbert, where you get by because of your talent, but you never actually succeed in anything? I kind of want. If I had kids, I want them to be like Jalen Hurts, without a doubt. I think there could be a couple quarterbacks traded. Honestly, Kirk Cousins could get traded. I could see Russell Wilson if Denver would eat his contract or trade him away cheaply. I could see Denver try to move on from him. It'd just be really hard because of the contract that Russell Wilson's got. Um, who else could get traded quarterback wise? I thought a couple, but now I'm having trouble thinking about who else could get traded. Justin Fields, and maybe if they want to move on from him, I don't know. Um, I don't know. There could be Kyler Murray could get traded. They opened his practice window. I don't know why they would play Kyler Murray at this point this season. So maybe they opened his practice window up to trade him. There are a couple guys that could get traded there. I wouldn't be shocked if a starting quarterback or two, gets traded to a fringe playoff contender, and that's really rare. Trading a quarterback mid-season and expecting them to come in and save your season, whether because of injury or because your quarterback just isn't it. It's got to be hard. It's got to be hard to pick up a brand new offense, learn wide receivers all on the fly like that. It's why you don't see it happen very often. Kyler Murray stinks. I see your comment, man, chatter. Um, I don't know if he stinks, uh, but let me tell you something. He ain't it. There were a lot of people that said Kyler Murray was 10 times the quarterback that Jalen Hurts was before last year. And I said, you're all nuts because Kyler Murray doesn't have Kyler Murray. Like, if Caleb Williams is not careful, I see a lot of Kyler Murray and Caleb Williams. All ego and all hype. No desire to win. No work ethic whatsoever. Now, you might say Cliff Kingsbury had some of the problems in stunting his development. That's possible. But no, that Kyler Murray guy, man, he might go somewhere and be an average quarterback eventually, but he is not. He's got a like $240 million deal they signed him to last year. He ain't that kind of quarterback. Not at all. Justin Fields, if his backup has a good showing, yeah, and the Bears could just tank for Caleb Williams too. I don't know. There's a lot of teams that could. I just don't buy the hype when you've got that kind of ego. Justin Fields, people were saying he was going to have the Jalen Hurts breakout season this year. I said it. Nah. Because you don't see him putting the work in. He is too short. Kyler Murray should have stuck to baseball. Wasn't he a first round draft pick in baseball too? He should have. Dude, if I was talented enough as an athlete to be a first round pick in football and baseball, I would take baseball. You can make a lot more money in baseball than you can football. And it's all about the bottom dollar, right? So, that's the way I would have gone. He probably should have stayed at baseball. He would have had a lot more success maybe. Kurt Warner's the only quarterback I think of could move in the middle of the season and he'd get the party started. Kurt Warner was a special dude, man. Special dude. How so many teams missed him, I don't know. Wilson, Daniel Jones, and the Oompa Loompa Murray have their teams over a barrel. Ridiculous contracts. They do. I bet you all three of those teams regret that without a shadow of a doubt. They all regret those contracts. The Daniel Jones one's a little bit easier to get out of, though. It's a little less money. And there's only two. I think it was a 4-year deal, but I think there's an out after 2 years. So I think you can get out of that deal a little easier. Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, man, they would have to eat so much money and trade their quarterbacks for like first round picks. Or I mean like for like 7th round picks. the only way they'd get rid of them. Jalen Hurts looks like Justin Fields this year. He still looks better. Don't you dare say that. Um, Not even close. I mean, he's not having last year's season, but he's still performing better than Justin Fields has ever performed. No heart, no will to win. Pack it up and get out of my town. That's what I would say too. Um, Absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt. Eric gets one right. Yeah. I hold on. I despise L.A. Night. Come on. How can you despise L.A. Night? Let me talk to you. How can you do that? Elway made the right decision. Murray didn't. Elway made the right decision to get out of Denver and not fix that problem in Denver, I guess. I don't know how John Elway made the right decision because Russell Wilson, he ain't in anymore. The Eagles dodged such a bullet. They were so that people wanted the Eagles to trade for Russell Wilson, Kyler Murray, Justin Fields. They wanted us to trade for all these guys. They all stink. They're all doing terrible now. Not Justin Fields. Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson, and Kyler Murray, I saw rumors about. And we dodged a bullet on all of them because Jalen Hurts is the real deal. He really is. All right, we got 3 minutes left in this show. Final score, Eagles Dolphins. Like I said to start the show, I don't care what the X's and O's say. Kelly Green is back, and the Eagles will not lose the re-debut. Oh, you mean football. John Elway decided right on football over baseball. That's right. Because he was what? Was it the Yankees that drafted him? I think the Yankees drafted him in the first round. And he threatened to go because he didn't want to go to what team did he not want to get drafted by? So he threatened. I don't know. I don't remember all the John Elway details. But anyway, like I said, Eagles will not lose the re-debut of Kelly Green. Zero doubt in my mind. No way. I don't care about the X's and O's, the injuries. The Holy Cross JV team with Kelly Green on would beat the Miami Dolphins. That's how confident I am in the Kelly Green thing. But so I've got 5 scores written down here, and I'm just going to run all 5 of them. I think I've zoned in on my final score. I think. I can't even read all my handwriting on this one here. 35-31 was the first winning score. Well, let me go. So I had a 35-28 loss written down and a 41-31 loss written down. Both of those, I'm going to shy away from the loss. I do think if the Dolphins score in those mid to upper 30s, we are going to struggle to keep up with them. I think I'm looking at the 35-31 Eagles score that I've written down here as a possibility. I've also got I can't even read that. Do I have the same score written down twice? I don't even know. Oh, no, I got 27-21 written down. I think I'm zoning in on the low scoring game. Sunday Night Football, you got to run the clock and control the clock. The only way the Eagles win this game is if Kelly Green seeps into their blood and we keep the Dolphins under 30. So I got the Eagles winning 27-24 in a much more low scoring game than anybody else. That's my final prediction. That's it. That's how we do it. Show over. Eagles win 27-24 over the Miami Dolphins. Kelly Green wins again. I never won at Wilson, but I didn't have a clue Hurts would be that good so fast. Last year was special. Absolutely. When you talked on this show, and I was on a previous network, nonstop, about what last year I'm saying, that all Jalen Hurts had to do was Jalen Hurts going in last year to me was still a top 15 quarterback because of his work ethic and leadership ability. And I saw a little bit of that in 2021. I said if he just got a little bit better, the team could be special. No one expected him to be an MVP candidate last year. But he was. So you had to expect some regression. That's right. Mic drop. 27-24. I'm not dropping my mic because that would break it. Then I'd have to buy another one. I'll drop the pen instead. Kelly Green, Eagles, they control the clock. Game's over. Now, I'm just going to say this. If the Dolphins score, I think they could win if the Dolphins, 31's the max. If the Dolphins score more than 31 points on Sunday night, the Eagles lose game 2 in a row. But I don't think it happens. I think the Eagles win 27-24. You heard it here. Guys, got to wrap it up. Trending in the AM right here on Philadelphia Sports Network. Another fun-filled week here on the show. Back next week. Hopefully talking Phillies in the World Series. Hopefully the series doesn't go past 5 on Saturday. Hopefully we're talking Phillies World Series on Monday. Hopefully we're talking Eagles victory on Monday. I'll be tired from an Eagles game staying up late. But it is what it is. Everybody have a great weekend. Final comments coming through. I want Hurts to talk to the coaches in a manner they start calling plays that allow our playmakers to play. The hot hand ain't it. I love it. I love it. I love the final comments here in the comment section. Everybody have a great weekend. Make sure you hit that like button. Only 15 likes on YouTube. Got to be better than that. 6 on Facebook. Got to be better there. Show did not get many views. You guys disappointing me to end the week. What the hell? I come here and give you 90 minutes, and this is the best you can do? Everybody have a great day, great weekend. Talk to you on Monday. For Philadelphia Sports Network, for Trending in the AM, I'm Phil Stiefel. Go Birds, and let's go Phillies.